Welcome to the ABC Codcast. Welcome to the ABC Podcast. A is for arteries, B is for bronchitis, and C is for cardiorespiratory something or other. No. I don't know if I'm comfortable with this. Alright, welcome to the ABC Podcast, where a few good mates get together and try to assemble an alphabet from a pointless topic. Yeah, that's how this works. I'm your host, Anderson Carman.
I'm Jack Felker, guest host. Person?
Sure. You already screwed it up. Anyways.
And I'm Ian Butler, and I'm actually not third wheeling this time.
Oh, yeah, you're second wheeling. You're actually...
In fact, you are, actually, because me and Jack are both here.
This is dangerous. Anyways, Logan couldn't make it this week, so I subbed him for somebody. So, what do you do, Jack?
I am a new grad from Georgia State University. We'll be working in the emergency room as a nurse.
Cool.
I don't really do anything right now until work starts. So.
Okay, awesome. Well, today's alphabet is going to be medical.
No!
I'll listen. I'll listen.
Okay, so, theme song.
Oh, fire away. I'm not gonna do it. You guys have already recorded the theme song, right?
No, you have to do it every time, Ian.
No, come on, dude. Tell me you recorded it.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
Do you know the song, Ian? I think he doesn't know the song at all, actually.
Q-R-S-T-V, W, X, Y, and Z. Now I know my ABCs. Next time, won't you sing with me? That's it. That's the theme song.
That is how it goes.
I'm going to write one. I don't want to sing that every time. You guys
He has to put in a few guitar riffs.
Yeah.
All right. So anyways, A. Yeah, well, so last week we did comics. Comic book heroes, so like it had to specifically be the name of a comic name. But medical, I'm like, anything. So anatomy. A. Anatomy. What is anatomy?
Say anus,
What's...
Yeah, I mean,
that is a
that was the second thing I thought of. Yeah, like anatomy is just to study the body. Yeah,
that's just the body.
I say that counts. That's part of it. To be a nurse or a doctor, you have to take multiple courses in anatomy.
What's physiology? Because those are always paired together. It's like anatomy and physiology.
Yeah.
So
physiology would be the study of the body's processes all working together, I guess. Maybe?
You guess?
Yeah, I actually have no idea.
Oh my god.
Anatomy and Physiology 1 and 2 is what I took, and I don't know what physiology is.
Anatomy is a lot of memorization, right?
Yes, anatomy is the devil.
Is physiology a lot of memorization?
Yes. But it's probably like how, like if you think about a car. Anatomy is the study of the parts of a car, and it can even be the study of how they all go together. Physiology would be like, if your car isn't working right, you listen to the sound of it, or you look at something and you're like, oh, your fuel filter's out. Okay. That's probably physiology.
Okay.
We're going to look this up later and just be like, oh my god.
I almost called your patients customers.
Your customers?
Your customers are screwed.
Oh, they are.
I did hear somebody talking what's about, like, the reason that they're called patients is because they sit in that lobby forever. They're just out there like, when are they going to get to me?
Actually, the real reason they're called patients is the root word in Latin is to suffer. Peti is where we get passion.
Yeah, I know it's different from, like, actually being patient, because...
But actually, being patient is theoretically knowing how to suffer for a long amount of time. So if you think about someone being patient, we're talking about them, suffering. Because waiting is suffering. No joke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is going to be... Jack has this little conversational tick where you'll bring up something medical related and he'll go, well...
I'm sorry, I hate it when people do that. It really is a character failing, but,
It is going to be a podcast of Jack. I'll say something, Jack.
Actually, this thing actually works. Yeah.
It's going to be nuclear, dude.
Isn't that like an episode in The Office where Oscar always says, well, actually, and then they just make an episode just riffing off of that and how he's always wrong for an episode or something?
That's fair. I saw something with Stanley the other day where he's just like, they were like, how much will he ignore? And he was just like, they like replaced his computer with a cardboard computer and they're like, oh my god.
Oh, this family is my hero.
Yes.
So good. Okay, well, that's anatomy. B. Broken arm. Have you ever broken your arm? I was just thinking of that.
I actually haven't.
I have not either.
You ever? What?
No broken bones,
I haven't
which
broken
is
a bone.
sad.
Yeah.
Oh, guys, we're a bunch of weaklings.
Okay, so they say that breaking your femur is like, is it the femur? Is that the top leg? The top, like, that's the worst?
Theoretically, that's the worst pain, besides maybe giving birth.
Sounds terrible.
So if you push a baby out of... Can I say vagina?
It's medical.
If you push a baby out of vagina, that might be as bad. We're not really sure. But breaking the femur at least requires more force because it's the thickest bone.
People actually, I heard somewhere that the first weapons were actually femurs.
Yeah.
Just think about how strong a femur is.
Right.
So that's probably what Cain
damn.
killed Abel with, then, his first act of violence.
I don't know. I mean, maybe an animal's femur.
Yeah.
But I mean, he wouldn't have got a person's femur because, I mean, only
6,000
first 4
years
people?
Oh, yeah.
Did they have a lost older brother?
Was Abel the first person to die?
Yeah.
We don't know. He's the first one to get murdered.
Because
He's the first recorded murder and death.
that was the first murder, but was it necessarily the first death?
I mean, unless Eve
Human death,
miscarried
at
their
least.
first baby. Right?
Well, but
This
they were
is
like,
a
but they
great
were,
comic
but they
book.
were like adults, right? Like they weren't like kids when he killed him.
No, it's not.
I mean, I always interpreted it as like young adult, adolescent.
Yeah.
But yeah, like theoretically, Abel's the first death, which makes it super significant. Like that whole story is like,
Yeah.
it's like all the first times man goes wrong. It's like, crap. Like, guys, please, can we have kept murder to the second generation? Like,
Do you think Cain turned
to the dark
Abel's
side.
femur? I was expecting. Well, clearly, do you think he turned Abel's femur into a lightsaber then? Into the dark side.
Maybe Lamech, the guy who boasts about killing 7 men for insulting him,
he was
had Abel's femurs, like the matched lightsabers of the ancient world. Like,
Oh,
maybe that's why he was so deadly.
Yeah, just getting
no.
femered on.
This is just bad. Did we do the word for Oh, broken arm.
Yeah, it
that's
was
it.
broken. Yeah,
That's
broken.
two words, but
Nah, I would-
Broken.
It's better than Bowman's capsule, which is the dumbest thing to
Wait,
remember
what is
from
that?
anatomy.
What is that?
It's
now we have to know.
in your kidney, the thing
But
that
what's it
filters your blood. Bowman's capsule.
Okay,
Because
okay, okay,
Bowman,
wait. What do you think it is, Ian?
don't
The
know.
Bowman's capsule. No. Tell me what it
Well,
is.
I thought it sounded like probably like a muscle in your arm. I think that's a fair guess. But I
classic
think it's
Bowman's
wrong.
capsule.
Yeah, well, you know.
Yeah, 'cause
well,
it's-
if you're a Bowman, you know,
Right,
you
then
need a
know,
capsule.
right.
Yeah, or you know.
No, I just remember it because I was like, dang it. There's probably nothing to be Felker's Ridge or something.
Felker's Bridge.
Felker cyst.
Right, the Felker cyst. Like,
yeah, it's a classic.
you honestly don't want to get your name attached to like some terrible tumor. It's like the Carman tumor, the most deadly version of
yeah,
cancer
it's
ever. It's like,
it smells bad
yes.
too. Like, it's just it's not good luck.
Yeah, it's not fun.
That's
Anyways,
probably-
the Bowman sack though. What does it actually do?
The Bowman's capsule is what filters your blood in the kidney.
Wow.
We don't remember the Bowman's sac.
That's a Freudian slip right there. It's fair. It's been writing comics.
Yeah.
But it's in your kidney.
It's in the kidney, yeah. It's just this little, like, it's like a membrane, like in your coffee. It's your
Sounds like
coffee
you're
filter.
making this up.
Yeah. I just remember it because I was like, dang it, Bowman got there first.
C. There's kind of an obvious one, but
Cranium?
Capillary.
I was gonna go with cancer.
Cancer. Okay, yeah.
Good Lord.
But we'll start with
Keep it light.
Cranium.
cranium. What
It's just your skull.
Like-
Like the part that
okay.
houses your brain.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not.
is that? That's
interesting.
technically the name of your skull.
It's like the brain box part of
The
it.
skull cap.
Sort of like that.
Stool.
Like
Capsule.
like
We're back to capsules.
the parts of the skull that cover the brain, like a little. It's basically a circle, like an enclosed unit. That's the cranium.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
It's like a bone yarmulke.
A little like a bone yarmulke, but not at all.
What is with you and Jewish people today?
I don't know. They've been on my mind.
Capillaries, those are the little veins, right?
Yeah, they just kind of push blood through, right?
But they're like the itty bitty baby ones that like if you get a paper cut, that's what's bleeding. But you're
Yeah.
not cutting a vein or an artery because they're not that.
Yeah.
Close.
Yeah. So you have like arteries that go to basically arteries run into capillaries. Capillary is where it turns from an artery to a vein. That's where all the oxygen leaks out into the like tissue itself, right? So as your blood vessel gets progressively smaller, it then turns into this branching network where all the oxygen leaks out into your cells so your cells can run. And then on the other side of that huge network, it turns into a vein, and the vein carries it back to your heart.
Huh.
Yeah, those are capillaries. You have like thousands of miles of capillaries in your body. I don't even know how many.
It's tiny, right? Like
Yeah.
the size of like pencil lead. Maybe smaller.
Smaller than that, probably.
It's weird to think of your body as just like a giant bag where a bunch of stuff is moving around and.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. What always weirds me out is that technically your skin is a part of your immune system.
Yeah.
That's always a weird, because I always just kind of think of skin as something to, kind of burn. Like that's that's mostly. Well, no, I don't mean
mean
that
a sunburn
Like,
thing,
I mean
like-
a sunburn. I don't mean like a
Do you
pagan
need to talk
ritual.
about things?
Skin, something I like to wear.
So I like cook.
Honestly, like it'd be fun to do like the psychology test where it's like Anderson, say the first word that comes to mind when I say pupil.
Eyeball.
Right. You have like someone be like pupil, and then you have someone be like teacher, and you're like, I don't know about that.
There's a little.
Oh.
Right.
People are weird.
Right. People.
But I mean, think about it. Like this,
What's your biggest organ? Right? Skin's
Yeah.
skin's considered an organ.
so yeah, definitely.
It's just a weird thing. And like, think about like what would happen, like when you have a cut in your skin, anything can get through.
Ugh.
Anything. And that's just a troubling thought.
I think it's because people we understand all the things that go wrong, but it's hard to conceptualize the huge clone army of lymphocytes in your body. Like,
Oh, yeah,
you have
lymphocytes.
this redonkulous, just like network of defense.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's awesome.
Well,
Did
like
you ever
there's-
have like one of the little kids books where they were all like drawn as little soldiers?
Oh, yeah.
And they're like
Yeah.
fighting the bad cells and bad cells. But it's weird because to me, whenever I've seen like microscopic things of like germs, they always look like germs. Like they always look like these nasty
Weird little.
specks. Whereas like white blood cells and stuff always kind of look nice.
Yeah,
Like,
they
oddly
shouldn't.
appealing.
They're like, it's like, oh yeah, they look nice, but it's kind of like when you go to like a military parade and you're like, oh, those guys look nice. Like that dude in the front has killed 50 people, like 3 of them with his bare hands. It's like, oh God, how? Like the macrophages are these like starving cells that are like, ooh, bad cells, let me eat this. Like,
Good Lord.
they're terrified.
They're terrified.
Yeah. Anyway, so I feel like it was a mistake to invite me to this.
It definitely was. We'll continue.
Well, I don't know why you chose medical. That'd be
Yeah.
like choosing history with me around and being like, well, actually.
Well, we're totally going to do that.
Oh,
Yes.
Lord.
Yeah.
And
Well,
we're both
'cause
in here for
this
that
is comedy
stuff.
and educational.
Educommunism. Educommunism. After the edit, though, I was going to say, don't take all of what we say for a fact, though. Like,
I'm just
don't
gonna-
put this on your test, because I'm going to say a lot of wrong stuff.
I'm just going to edit stuff together that makes you guys look awful.
Just like make anti-Semitic cancer.
So just
Jews.
So just leave the track
I say, yeah,
unedited.
leave it unedited. We'll probably sound pretty.
You just have to cover yourself. You have to be like, it was a joke. Cancer is everything. Dude, that's what I don't understand about cancer. There's a cancer for everything. Is cancer just this blanket term for it sucks?
Well, it's a very specific. I'm gonna head Jack off
Do it,
pass
do it,
and
please.
fire away an amateur. Because what? It's like a coding error in DNA, right? That, like, imagine if you had a family of people, right, and they had a weird error where they just didn't die, but they kept on reproducing, right? You know, kind of like the Felkers. No, I'm kidding.
I was about to make that joke where it's like, imagine you had a family, and like this weird problem in their DNA meant they just had way too many kids.
And they just didn't die. They canceled it out.
And it's like, wait, yeah, I know those people.
It's me. Is that like a fair understanding of cancer? Like, it's just like an error in a cell where it just.
But
doesn't
then that
die off.
error keeps reproducing?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like basically in the cell life cycle, like you have like different cycles of your cells like reproducing. So your skin, for example, the top layer are all dead. All of the top layer of your skin, the epidermis, or like the top layer of the epidermis are all dead. And they're just sloughing off continually. And new cells are being born at the like lower levels to make their way up to the top and get sloughed off.
Okay.
Circle of life.
Sloughed off?
Slough.
I just want to make sure that I've got that.
It's a weird
How do
word.
you spell that?
Term?
How do you
Is that
spell
actually
that?
a medical
Slough?
term?
SLO.
Wait, are you serious?
UGH, I believe.
No.
It's a legit term.
Sloughed
I've never
off?
heard sloughed off
I'm
except
going to
for
use that
skin.
as my new, like, expletive towards people. Oh, slough off.
Slough off. Slough.
Add that to Urban Dictionary.
It's a weird. Honestly, I'm terrified of what you'd find. It's like you can look up anything on Urban Dictionary, and then it's like, ugh.
Ugh, slough off.
But yeah, so yeah, if your cells just keep reproducing when they shouldn't, it makes cancer. And usually, like when they reproduce like that, like they're broken cells. Like they're not. The tumor is usually like this really like bad mass of cells that serves no purpose. Sometimes makes too much of whatever that organ makes, and then your body has to reroute resources to it, and it's just bad. It's terrible.
Huh.
But yeah.
That's weird.
Cancer is weird. It's like the more like you learn about it, and the thing is like in nursing school you learn everything, but nothing like the way it actually is. You only have models of how everything is.
Well, yeah, no, I'm doing like some technical illustrations for a project right now, and one of the things I drew recently was a euglena, which is just this little, it's a single-celled organism. But when you look at it under a microscope, it's a green blob with a tail. That's it.
Yeah.
But then when like I'm supposed to draw it, I'm supposed to like highlight these specific things, and you can't see them. But so like it's a very abstract version of what it actually is. But I'm like, oh, okay, well, I guess this
Super
is
dope. Like euglena. Later we need to talk about this job because that's a really cool job, anyways.
Oh, that's
like,
pretty cool. Yeah.
Man, thousands will study the euglena.
The euglena.
And thanks to Anderson, they will be able to see it's mitochondria and the different organelles and be like,
Yep.
that's
Yep.
where the mitochondria is.
That's me.
I think I had some euglena in my stomach on Monday.
Probably.
It's pretty brutal.
Nearly killed him.
I really did. I was in rough shape.
Yeah, you can't have. Ugh, that's rough. D. No.
I'm never gonna say it first.
I don't think that's the medical term.
No. Can you imagine a doctor comes and is like,
I thought we were all talking about doctor.
yeah.
Oh,
That
yeah,
is actually the first
doctor,
thing I
doctor,
thought.
there you go.
What
How,
else?
okay, so what's the minimum amount of years it takes to become a doctor?
30?
Medical doctor.
40?
I don't even know.
300,000
I think it's like it's like a 4-year undergrad and then a 2-year med school and then usually a 2-year residency. I think.
So that's 8.
I think 8. I don't know.
But at that point, you're like, I mean, you've done a residency, so you're like practicing for 2 years.
You've
so
done like 2 years.
It's kind of like, yay.
Yay.
You're already kind of here.
Right, you should know mostly what to do, sort of, but not really. Like, I'll bet you it's like in nursing school where, like, you spend, like, a lot of hours being a nurse, theoretically, And then when you graduate, they're like, haha, we're not going to trust you with anything because you'll kill somebody. But a doctor, like, when you come out, it's like, haha, now you're commanding people. Like, you're actually telling people, like, this is how we treat this. It's like, I hope that you're right. Because
That's scary.
your nurse is literally going to, like, hopefully they'll be smart enough to be like, hey, that's a mistake. But they might not.
What's crazy to me is, like, I was at the doctor's the other day for, the euglenas that were reproducing in my stomach. And, it's just crazy, like, it's whenever you have, like, an expertise-based field. Because, like, they go in, and I'm like, well, these are my symptoms. I don't want to go into too much detail. It's pretty primal,
no, please.
But, it's pretty brutal. But, so I describe my symptoms to them, and then they're like, let me think. I think it's this. And it's just like, oh my God, like, just to have that much knowledge in your brain, like, any kind of expertise like that, I think is really impressive.
I think of all the useless comic book information that I've read, like all the Star Wars stuff, and, all this random garbage that's up here. I'm like, I should really free up that space for something useful.
Really good. It was also really weird because, like, well, actually, I'm not gonna.
No, do it.
It was weird because, like, I was at the doctor's, and I was, like, lying on, like, a little doctor's bed thing. This may need to get edited out.
Go ahead. We'll go until it needs to be edited.
There's 2 female doctors.
Dude, all right.
Keep going. And so one of them was, like, kind of feeling my stomach. The other one was sitting over there asking me about my stools. I was like, this is, like, the weirdest thing. I'm, like, lying down, someone was, like, feeling my stomach. The other one was like, so, have your stools been loose? Like, this is, like, the weirdest.
Not gonna lie, the first time a doctor asked me about my stool, I had no idea what they were talking about.
Like, you mean that over there?
They're like, how's your stool? I was like, I don't understand.
Like,
My stool is wooded, and they're like, oh my lord, good God, man.
So that was just, like, a weird experience. I was like, yeah, this is odd.
Yeah, no, that's the weird part of an examination where they're just, like, feeling up your belly.
Like, do you feel
like,
anything? I'm like
that. Well, and it's always this weird thing with doctors where they're like, does this hurt? And I'm like, well, it's uncomfortable because I feel like that's always going to be uncomfortable.
Right.
But, like, it doesn't hurt.
Like, punch you in the stomach, like, did this hurt? I was like,
well, I mean, I went to the dentist the other day to, like, get something done. Not a real doctor, but...
Oh, no, dentists are also super overpowered.
Shots fired. But... Like, they went in and they like gave me the shots, and then they went in and started to work on it, and they were like, hey, if it feels cold, let us know and we'll give you another shot to numb the area. Well, they went in and it immediately felt cold. And I was like, if I tell them it feels cold, they're just gonna give me another shot and we're gonna wait 10 more minutes for that to take effect. This one just probably hasn't taken effect. Lo and behold, like a minute later, I couldn't feel a thing. I was just
gurney.
Yeah. So dumb. But, I guess doctors are good.
Yeah, they're savants.
They're cool, I guess.
Who's the best doctor?
Oh, no.
House.
Oh.
Dr. House is the best.
Dr.
Dr.
Noam
House is pretty
Chomsky,
great.
my hero.
No, we're talking about
That's
real
philosophy.
doctors.
Right.
Doctors who help people and actually contribute
Not
to
old-
knowledge.
Not old bags. We just got our ramble.
Not those old hoes.
As in the garment of clothing that a woman puts on?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I was thinking a
garden
tool.
Oh,
man.
Very nice.
This is definitely a rabbit trail. But there was a Jeopardy show once where it's like, name a 4-letter gardening tool that is someone with loose sexual morals. And the dude's like, oh! And it's like, no, that's a rake. And like, without looking, I was kind of like, I can probably guess the ethnicity of both the questioner and the answer. And lo and behold, I was correct. They were both Jewish.
Oh, no.
I don't know how many Jews watch. Sorry.
They won't be watching, Ian.
Yeah.
Oh, I can say whatever I want. They don't know what I look like.
I mean, I do want for this to not be labeled as an anti-Semitic show.
Well, it's not, so...
It's not. That's the thing.
No,
like,
I love
This is
Jews.
comedy.
yeah,
I'm Jewish.
and there's background.
I'm not Jewish.
You can't say that.
Yeah, that's
Actually,
not allowed.
Laura, my wife, has this thing... Well, not this thing, but... apparently it's impolite to call them Jews. It's more proper to say Jewish people. So but it's kind of like the African American versus black thing. Like,
Right.
No one cares.
No one really cares unless someone cares.
Yeah.
Right, like if somebody asked me and was like, "Hey, would you call me this way?" I'd be like, "All right, that's
Yeah.
fine." But that's weird.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I guess jewelry is probably...
that is always out.
probably out.
That is never in.
You can edit that out.
Anderson, you're gonna spend so much more work on this episode. I'm sorry. I feel like
I'm
it's
just
my
gonna
fault.
bleep every time that you say. And they'll be like, what are they talking
It'll be like,
about?
oh my goodness, these guys are just sailors
I think it's like the N-word.
with no context.
All right, the letter E. I don't want to get to letters.
Electrolyte.
Electrolyte.
Very
Oh,
good.
So
Very strong.
Dude, something I was deficient in.
Yes, you were.
because of the euglena.
Because of you
Also
going
spelled with an E.
Oh.
Really?
Yeah.
I was just thinking it would be like uglina. Like, Literally, like the
Like
simplest
the name
spelling.
of like one of the Cinderella sisters or something.
There's Cinderella, Thumbelina, and Uglina.
Such a bad comic.
Of course. Yeah.
It's like every Disney movie where the princess is, perfect. And then every other girl has like some obvious flaw in her features, like
Yeah,
right off
yeah.
the gate. It's like, oh, she's not the princess. She's not the princess.
They're not just average, they're ugly.
Right.
Like,
Disney doesn't want you to be confused as to who is the main character, the good-looking one.
yeah.
Those ugly hoes. Just tormenting.
I'm telling you, man,
princess.
a good-looking hoe for your garden is critical.
It is incredible.
You need a good handle. You need to be able to handle it well.
It should be shapely.
And
Should
it
be able to work hard.
Listen, man.
What?
I was about to make I was trying to make like a plow joke, but like it just doesn't really work.
I don't know if
And the
plow jokes
hoe
ever
should be
really.
able to plow is like that's like the opposite of what a hoe should do. Like,
Oh man.
Yeah.
till the fertile ground. Let's move on. So what do you say? Oh yeah, so electrolytes.
Electrolytes.
Gatorade.
Gatorade.
So okay,
You know
is
why it's called Gatorade?
Why?
It's called Gatorade because it was a electrolyte rich formula that was made specifically for the Florida Gators, the team.
No way.
And so they just made it and called it Gatorade because they only had it there, and then they went they got like a big company and went public and stuff. So now it's everybody's.
In all fairness, that sounds a lot better than like
And I get
UGA-Aid. Like if it started off at UGA.
or like
Aid.
Electra
Oh,
Aid
my
probably
God.
would have. I mean, it probably
Yeah.
would have been something. I mean, that's why it's got the lightning bolt instead of like a gator.
It would be weird if it had a gator. Like, it'd be really hard to then be like, but it's actually it's like salt. But alligators,
Yeah.
crocodiles cry salty tears, so it's a crocodile.
It's worse.
They had the best commercials when people would sweat colors. Oh,
Oh my.
I feel like we were talking about this the other day, were we?
I don't think we were.
Maybe I was talking to someone else. Anyways, yeah, sweating colors, pretty cool.
Is Gatorade overrated? Is Powerade better?
You know,
who
I've
makes-
never done a side-by-side of the electrolyte content in either, but
Apparently, Powerade has less sugar.
is that true?
Apparently.
I was about to say,
Do you know who makes Powerade?
I do, I think.
Oh, you make it?
Coca-Cola.
Yeah, it's Coca-Cola. It's Coca-Cola.
It's crocodile tears. They bottle crocodile
Yeah,
tears.
it's like the one Coca-Cola product that's number 2, if you think about it. Because like Coca-Cola is, number 1 over Pepsi, number 1. Like Dr. Pepper, like Dasani, all of their brands are number 1 except for Powerade.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like the AK-47. Coca-Cola's AK-47.
What?
You guys didn't know Coke made the AK-47? The most popular weapon in the world?
Wait, what?
They don't, but I feel like that universe is the one I live in, where Coke is also a weapons manufacturer.
Yeah, probably Stark Industries.
For real, it's like Stark Industries that owns Coca-Cola. It's like, well, of course they will.
Well, and you go high enough in some of these companies, and you get to like the 3 companies that own the world.
Yeah.
There's
it's like-
Rupert Murdoch, who represents the bad guys, because of course. Then you have Stark Industries, which just, is like neutral.
And then you have Disney, who's good.
Oh yeah, sure.
No, Disney's owned
I
by
remember
Rupert
they did the
Murdoch.
last Star Wars movie. Definitely good.
Definitely bad guys.
It's definitely good.
I was gonna say, like, the good guys would be like Wikipedia.
What?
Wikipedia is like free knowledge.
It is, yeah.
Free knowledge?
They have that donation run
Is
like
awesome.
once a year.
Right.
I
And I'm
don't
always,
care, though.
and I'm always like, maybe if I don't donate, they'll miss it by $3, and the Wikipedia will go down.
But
I would kill myself.
Wikipedia really is like Wikipedia and YouTube. Those are both the good guys of the internet to me.
What is interesting to me about Wikipedia is like during the early days, it was like credible, and then it went through this like, but it was like that for like 6 months. Like for 6 months, it was like you could actually say,
Yeah.
oh, on Wikipedia, and then like immediately for the next 10 years, it was like, well, you can't cite Wikipedia. Like every paper I ever did. And to some extent that makes sense, but I could use the book encyclopedia, which generally was the same information.
But here's the problem, though: is like Wikipedia. The only thing that I really think that's missing from Wikipedia, at least in history, this could be different in science. The only thing that's really missing is,
Primary sources.
no, it's people disagreeing with each other, like debate,
Oh, the
scholarly
nuance.
debate.
Yeah.
So that's the thing is like Wikipedia is, in my opinion, it's as good of like a synopsis as you can get. It's
Yeah.
as good as an encyclopedia. The only reason people don't like it, I think, conspiracy theory time,
What?
is because it's free. You have to buy an inside. You know what I mean? Like, so that's my thing. Is that like,
Well, I mean, that's a lot of information on the internet,
Yeah.
which I think it lends credibility to
Yeah.
your argument because it's like when stuff is free.
but here's
Yeah.
the thing. At least Wikipedia is cited. So you can actually go through and like verify. That was very close. And like cite most of the stuff on Wikipedia.
Like, I'll be honest, I would use Wikipedia over, like, almost anything I was assigned as reading in college until I got to nursing school.
Yeah.
The books were all like 10 or more years old. And I would trust Wikipedia over a 10-year-old source.
Well, and what you do is you go, like you were saying, you just go down to the hyperlinks at the bottom and you go to those, and that's where.
Right, and the thing is, like,
information actually
yeah, on Wikipedia, you, like, there's the theory that, like, like, a troll could get on it and just edit and do something crazy.
They'll catch it in like 6 hours.
That's the thing, is like the team for Wikipedia are actually really strong in editing.
Yeah.
They took down all of my posts about Star Wars. Because, you know.
You made posts about Star Wars?
I really wish that I had, though. Like, I wish I had a definitive article on Wikipedia on, like,
man.
boffins. I was thinking about boffins today.
Go on.
I was thinking about how.
What do boffins look like? Do they look? Are they the ones that look like? Oh, dang it, Splinter.
Yeah, that's exactly
like
it.
Splinter.
I was just thinking about everything I knew about boffins because I was thinking it's the ABCs, and if it's Star Wars, I'm gonna come out with boffins like I was gonna come out swinging hard.
C would be Carillion, but
Carillion, of course. But yeah, sorry, boffins. Oh gosh,
what a bunch of.
I think
They're so hard to use in Battlefront.
They're just like referenced offhandedly in the movie, and I was always like, "What's a boffin?"
What's a boffin?
And they're kind of just ugly sloths.
All they do is die. Like they're good for nothing except dying.
Bunch of boffins.
Boffins.
Jeez. Letter F.
Flatulence. That's a
really
that's a medical term, dude.
Now, is that specifically the other F word?
It's
Farting.
That one.
I don't think that's medical.
Is flatulence like specifically
Flatulence?
farting?
Jeez, I'm trying to think if I know of another word for. Yeah, no, it totally is, because flatus is like. I don't know why flatus exists, but that is literally like what a fart is. It's like if I was going to describe like the cloud of gas coming out of your butt, it would be the flatus. I don't know.
Apparently, the sound of a fart is it's your cheeks bumping together from the.
It's that strong.
Yeah.
I was kind of figuring my cheeks are.
Well, like, have you ever done a raspberry on somebody, or had somebody do a raspberry on you?
What's this, dude?
It's the.
I'm not doing.
Oh
yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I know what that is.
That's gonna be
That was
fantastic.
Anderson on Ian.
I just call it.
I did that on Jack's belly.
There's a lot of belly too.
There were a lot of mouth noises last episode, so it always seems fair that we're doing fart noises. Can you do it with your hands? That's pretty. That's pretty good, Ian.
Man, I come from a
I need you to give me.
family.
I need you to give me a clean one so I can use that for edits. Oh, that was golden.
Delicious.
That was.
I'm just gonna use that as our swear overlay.
Yeah.
Every time we talk about Jews.
I feel like it would be bad to link Jews with that. Then it would, like if it ever slipped through, it'd be like, oh no, that's what they were editing with a fart noise.
So
Bad.
Dude, worst fart stories, dude.
Oof.
Brutal fart stories.
All of my fart stories are actually poop stories.
Well, they're related.
Well, actually, no, that's not true. Most of my fart stories involve attractive girls.
Oh,
and none of
good.
them what you're
Oh,
thinking.
I
Just like
need-
farting too loudly in front of attractive girls and just being like,
Dude, you know you found the one when you can fart comfortably in front of them.
See,
But how early can you? That's the thing. You might have the one, but what if you farted way too early and she just then always thought of you as like,
You just have
early
to fart.
gassy
And you
dude?
just have to fart and be like, well, that happened.
Well, there's that.
Yep.
You know, I feel like Gassy could be like a debuff in D&D.
Or
You know?
Strength was one, but debuff gassy, so just you lose.
The
all the
dwarves
time.
are a industrial, yes. Gassy, right?
Well, now I'm trying to think how that would like trip you up in a campaign too. It's like
Your charisma just
I roll a
plummets.
diplomacy check. Oh, you have just wrangled peace between the dragons and the elves.
or just, it's like every time you have to roll a d20 to see if you fart. Like
You
go
stealth,
10 to 20 and you fart.
You gotta use charisma on the princess.
every stealth roll just involves this massive fart at the beginning.
Oh my god.
It's just a question of whether it's silent or not.
Well, see, the best is when the scenario of being with a pretty girl, where you fart and it's just you two together. The best then is to blame it on someone else farted.
Like,
Don't- you
there
don't even
must
blame
be
it.
someone
You
invisible.
don't even blame it on her. You're like, somebody farted in here.
Oh boy.
And she'll be like, yeah, it wasn't me. And you're like, yeah, it wasn't me.
There's an invisible gnome, and just start swinging them around the room.
You're like, it must have been that fly that's buzzing around.
That's what Gassy thought. One time my brother, I hate using his story. He's so much gassier than me. I can't really help it. Because one time in a Kroger bathroom, and I don't know what he'd eaten, but he was just laying waste to this Kroger bathroom. And then the dust kind of settled, and he hears a voice next to him go, "You okay in there?" I was like, "Good lord."
Wait, but was he farting or was he, taking a dump? Like,
Okay, maybe take a
I mean,
dump.
if he's in a Kroger bathroom, I'm assuming it's the second,
Unless you run and be like, "This is a dirty one." I think it was taking a dump, right? So I'm not sure that's.
Well, that's always the funniest when you're like, you go to the bathroom, someone's just standing at the urinal, and they're just like, you hear them just kind of go,
Dude, I purposely try to make going to the bathroom as uncomfortable. I was
you
going
just
in
gotta be in
like,
there, you're like,
I'd be like, oh god,
See, that I think is just because of trauma from your time at Georgia State.
Yeah.
Is there an explicit version of this podcast where we can tell that story? Because
We need to.
It's
This
dark.
is the part that we'll probably need to get edited.
Okay, well, we'll be back in just a second, but
Yeah,
go
one second.
ahead.
So there's the.
Oh, we got it. G.
gee,
What's for the letter G? Good lord. Good lord.
that
Gross.
Gracious.
I'm just thinking of every thought I'm having after that.
Gastrointestinal.
very strong.
Okay, so this is a serious question. Very, very serious question. So gastro, like gastrointestinal, is reference to the stomach. Okay? Why in the heck is this called your gastrocnemius?
I don't know, man. I don't get
That's
the
a bunch of
gastrocnemius.
okay. The gastrocnemius is your
actually,
shin.
I do know.
It's your shin muscle. Oh, tell me then.
Yeah.
Why is it called that?
So it's in multiple muscles though. So they talk about muscle bellies. It's just a weird phrase for like you have like if you look at the calf muscle in like an anatomy drawing or someone who's just really big, you'll see there are two calves, right?
Yeah.
There's the big calf and the smaller calf. The bottom where that muscle is at its strongest, like where it's densest, is the belly of the muscle. So it's dumb. But yeah, so it's literally like they're just talking about the bellies of the muscle, I guess.
Oh, that's so
But
weird.
basically, like, it's a muscle where they just ran out of names. They were like, there's latissimus dorsi, and there's the deltoid, and, oh god, there's one in the lower leg. What are we gonna call it? And everybody sat around this table, and one dude was like, why don't we call it the muscle of Bowman? And they're like, no, Bowman, you had your turn. No, Bowman. Oh.
We already had that.
And they were like, no, we'll call it the belly muscle, like gastrocnemius, and everyone went home sad. Because Bowman didn't get it, but nobody else did.
Oh my goodness.
Your gastrointestinal system got it though.
Yeah, gastrointestinal made it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember some bone or some muscles by weird things. Like there's one that goes from here to the inside. Your sartorius. I wanna say.
Yeah. I think that
I
is
just
right,
remember
yeah.
that because it sounds like Sagittarius, which is
I was about to say
stupid. And then there's the one that goes over the gastrocnemius. That's the soleus.
I don't know these muscles. That's amazing.
I know my muscles because of drawing.
Right.
We had to study them, and so that's the only reason I know. And I only know like the ones that you can see surface level. Like I know the rectus femoris here. Mm-hmm. That's a great name.
The rectus femoris.
And I mean most of the rest are basic, but
Yeah, that's strong though. I'm a big fan.
yeah. Well,
We got glutes.
glutes. Your glutes look like crescent rolls. That's how that's how my drawing
Mine?
professor described them.
Wow,
Oh yeah. You got some. They look
Nice
tasty.
cheeks, you know.
It's a waxing moon crescent roll.
Yeah, no, like because like you're like on the sides they kind of go in
Yeah, they totally do.
because there's not muscle there. It's just like tissue.
Yeah.
Just the way they work.
Fat.
Gluteus maximus.
Just thick.
Dude, I wish I just had glute-sized muscle everywhere.
What movement does your glute do?
Your glute is a hip extender. So if you flex your glutes, it's the motion. And for all you guys on the podcast, you're totally gonna see this, right? It's where you like thrust your hips forward.
Oh,
Right.
That was sexy.
That one.
Very specific.
We're in a closet right now. so
Right.
that's-
It's somewhat cramped.
Seems appropriate.
Oh man.
Oh lord.
Yeah.
Glutes.
Uh,
Glutes are good.
I was gonna say gravida.
What?
It's a term for pregnancies. So like,
Huh.
I had to study it for the test, and I hate everything to do with. I don't hate pregnant women, but I do not
Sounds
enjoy
like-
learning about
It
pregnant.
sounds like you hate pregnant women.
women. Okay, pregnant women are really weird. Okay,
Weird looking?
yeah, dude,
Wow.
it looks so it is disproportionate because they're carrying a baby and like tons of extra weight. But you see like a stick thin
Extra weight,
woman
that's
who's
what I got away
pregnant,
from that.
and you just get like
Yeah.
that like huge belly and they're super tiny, and you're like, it's impossible. Like, how is she standing? She's about to give birth right now.
So what's it called again?
Gravida.
Gravida?
Yeah,
Like gravity?
sort of, but with a D.
Gravid. Okay, whatever.
Yeah, that means she has been pregnant. It doesn't mean that she actually gave. Like, it could be a miscarriage or like things
So
like that.
is it a past tense?
Yeah, so like a woman can be gravida 3, but parity 2. 2 living children.
I didn't realize that there was D&D involved.
I'm telling you, it's so frustrating that it's like a woman comes into the emergency room. She's been pregnant 4 times, 2 living children, and 1 baby died at like 27 weeks. What is her gravity and parity? And you're like, oh god, and like you like start sweating bullets because you're like, I don't remember this from studying.
Oh dear.
And you just sit there for like a minute or two.
So what's parity?
Parity is a pregnancy that goes
Other than a
to
joke.
22 weeks, I believe.
Other than what Weird Al does.
Oh right, nice.
But it's spelled differently.
Different spelling.
Okay.
Yeah. I wish it was
Boring.
parody.
One is spelled W-E-I.
It has a silent Q in the middle.
Yeah, a couple Z's thrown around.
Weird Al, but I mean that works.
Smooth in. Oh
That
jeez.
was a subtle one. It's a meta joke.
So when a woman gives birth, like her stomach doesn't like instantly deflate. But there's a giant cavity now. Right?
Yes. So that's a part of the 4th stage of labor where I believe it's 4th. If it's 5th, then all of you medical people just calm down. I don't remember.
Yeah.
I don't intend to
Thomas
ever
alone.
do OB nursing. But at the end of labor, the uterus starts cramping up and like pinching off all its blood vessels. So the uterus is where the baby's been living. So that's where that cavity would be. Right after birth is over, it starts contracting on itself, so she won't bleed to death.
Sounds good and
Good.
awful.
Very strange. It's where you get the best scenario. You come into the emergency room, or like after birth, you feel the woman's fundus, top of the uterus, and it is a boggy fundus. And you're like, pause, boggy fundus. That is the accepted medical term for what that would be like.
That sounds like a
boggy
throw-off.
fundus.
Like a throw-off Tolkien lizard.
I'm telling you, it's like there's Gandalf. And
Gandalf is like, we're going to the boggy fundus.
Right.
Or it's like, this is Radagast.
Radagast.
Brother, Boggy Fundus,
Fundus. I feel like it's a Hobbit name. It's like Bilbo Baggins and Frodo Baggins and Sandy, what are the Sandy Proudfoot, and then it's like, and Boggy Fundus. Fatty Bulger, Boggy Fundus.
It's like the same breath, dude.
I'm telling you what. But yeah, so that's what you might feel one day.
Me?
And if you feel a boggy fundus, immediately massage the fundus so that it will cramp down. So,
Wait, where's the fundus?
it's the top of the uterus, so it's kind of chilling near her belly button. It might be a little bit above it at this point. And
But you can feel it from the outside?
Yeah.
What?
So that's probably what the doctors were feeling around for, Ian, when you were in the
feeling
doctor's
around
office.
my
They were
uterus.
feeling for the
Wait,
fundus.
do guys have a fundus?
No, we don't have a
I was
fundus.
about to say,
No uterus, no fundus.
Oh, no! Oh,
This
God!
guy's record, just...
Yeah. But yeah, so that is a real thing, like all of that. So
Boggy fundus. Oh, dear.
that's why I don't remember very much from the test. I just remember boggy fundus.
looms large.
H.
Guys, I'm having a really hard time. I'm blanking on a lot of stuff. So Helicobacter pylori is a bacteria that gets in your stomach. It's actually really cool. Hear me out.
Well, for those of you that can't see, Ian and I just
They both rolled their eyes
with
and
their
like
eyes.
they started pulling out torches and
And
Anderson has a burn the witch t-shirt. But basically it's this bacteria which is super because it can go in your stomach. Allowed? Anyways, it can go in your stomach and produce basically it produces Tums. So your stomach acid doesn't kill it.
Oh.
So it lives in this like tiny bubble of Tums. And then it can attack your stomach. Anything else that goes in your stomach probably dies. Like, there are only, 3 things that live through your stomach. Boggy fundus. No, not boggy fundus. Endospores, Helicobacter pylori, and,
whatever I had.
yeah.
The Euglena.
Probably not what you had, actually.
Really?
What you had probably is a GI infection. It's not living in your stomach. It's probably below it.
So, is this like how stomach worms probably survive or something like that?
They just go straight to your butthole, I think.
Yeah, I'm thinking of, most parasites and, hookworms and things like that won't live in your stomach. They'll probably be in your intestine.
Do they circumvent your stomach somehow? Or, how do you... Because, I imagine, getting through your stomach is, you're driving down 285.
Yeah.
And then just suddenly you see this thunderstorm. This isn't just rain. This is, acid skin-melting rain. You see the cars in front of you just vaporizing.
It's more like... Well, yeah, it's actually a lot like that. But what I was going to say, I was going to take it more to Atlanta, traffic humor and be it's like if you were driving a truck through snowpocalypse. Atlanta is the stomach. You should avoid that at all costs because it will destroy you.
Yeah.
But no, it really is it's just this crucible through which very little survives.
So how do, parasites get through?
I'm imagining that parasites...
They probably get through his eggs, right?
Yeah.
They don't even hatch until they get to the
They're
safe
probably
spot.
eggs within food, right? So they're chilling inside of food particles.
Yeah.
I'm never eating anything ever again.
Yeah. But usually the things are they're hiding from the stomach acid. Very little can survive in the stomach. But yeah, so Helicobacter pylori. Pretty cool bacteria.
What does it do?
It makes the Tums and then it can give you really bad infections. Or it can give you really bad...
I assumed it was helpful. It's not helpful?
No, very bad. It's an No. This one can give you ulcers in your stomach. Because it eats away your stomach lining and then that acid gets on muscle. But yeah.
Gross.
Little devils.
Heliobacter
Pylori.
Is pylori just a word for bacteria, or is it just...
I think it's the species. So it's Heliobacter is a family, and then pylori I think is the species, maybe?
Okay.
Sounds made up. Anyways, I. The letter I, not the organ.
Indigestion, something I struggle with.
Indigestion.
A lot, honestly.
Yeah.
Personal struggles. You know what I mean? Just kind of share.
Other struggles. Incontinentia. Buttocks. Incontinence.
What is that?
Where you can't control your bowels.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, your bowels. I thought it was just peeing.
Either.
Oh.
Brutal.
Yeah.
So I thought it was...
So, I
Monday.
guess that for adults it depends. That's what they do.
Yeah.
Because, you can... I just thought about getting cathed and it really hurt.
If you ever need it done.
Oh!
I haven't ever cathed a dude before. It's
Have you cathed a woman?
Cathed a woman. I have. It's one of my better stories. Dudes are simpler because one hole. Women are tricky.
If you string it through
Many.
through the wrong
That's not right.
Yeah. Dude, how about impotence?
Is that an E or an I?
Impotence? Like an impotent male?
Oh.
That kind of impotent.
Yeah, ecstasy. Another
Anderson's so far from having this problem that he can't really conceive of the
I'm
problem.
like, wait,
He's
what
so
are we
virile.
talking about? I don't understand.
That doesn't work for everybody? And it's like, no, Anderson, we're not all like you.
What is this problem you're talking about?
Some people just have stage fright, man, okay?
That's what I call it. Not stage fright was when you couldn't pee in front of other people.
I mean, it's a similar deal, right?
Right,
there are other
right.
people involved, and you know.
That was something going
Get
into
nervous.
marriage I was curious about. Like, would going to bathroom in front of my spouse be like a thing? Like, is that something that like you have to close the door every time? But now the problem that gets me is someone will. You're making a face. What?
I was going to ask the very obvious question that I
What's
think
the-
all
what
of
is-
our fans are asking.
What's the very obvious question?
Do you have to close the door?
No.
Oh.
In fact,
I would.
it's gone to a point now where we once had somebody over, and I was just kind of like, I just went in to go to the bathroom, and I didn't think about it, and then I was like, oh, I should close this door because they're not like my wife.
We're not married.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say something about, like, I was wondering when I got married, like, am I impotent?
I mean, nervousness is a thing.
that's-
like,
yeah.
it's a real thing. A lot of people have to get out of their own heads
They really do.
for everything to work right. Actually, especially women. Like,
I know that is true.
yeah.
fun fact, which everybody knows, but like,
You should know.
male like reproductive is very simple. It's like, aha,
Yes,
you get stimulated. For women, it's like, you must make the proper sacrifices. And she has to be in a good mood.
There's
And
a
like,
whisper in Latin. You
like,
know?
there's a lot that goes into
It's
this.
a sacrifice of a cocker spaniel on the summer
You have to
solstice.
kill her dog. That's what I've always found. Poop in her sink, kill her dog. These are my...
Oh,
Ian,
no.
we need to talk. First, let's
You
talk
don't know.
about-
You don't know
first
how
let's
to
talk
seduce
about-
a woman. At
I
all.
just talked about burning skin, and now, oh
I
man,
haven't talked to a woman in years.
yeah. I sometimes feel like a sailor trapped on like the HMS Bounty. It's like, what is a woman? I've heard that there are such things that aren't men and don't smell
Do
bad.
you feel like a sailor or like a seaman?
I just feel like something that
Is
like
this a bonus
has
episode
only a
too?
theoretical understanding of women that are not sisters or mom.
Sometimes I'll read like Greek philosophers, just nerdy aside, and I'll think they're kind of the same way. They're like, there's these weird things, these weird accidents that happen when just a man isn't made properly. They're like emotional, they're irrational, and you should steer very clear of them. You know?
Well, it's because they also like they have that classic problem of like dudes who aren't really around women enough also just like forget that they're human beings, and so like I don't know what makes them tick. They're the most wonderful and amazing things on earth, but I have no understanding of them.
Well,
Like,
see, Plato wouldn't even say that. Plato would be like,
right.
useless.
And that's because Plato was bitter, and so he didn't want to like,
Heifers.
he was like an incel, and so
He was an
he'd gone the full like rage mode.
I did actually get to call my wife a heifer the other day.
Good
That was
lord.
fun. We went to Cow Appreciation Day.
Oh.
So she was dressed up as cow. She thought it was funny.
Well done. I was gonna say he's got both of his eyes and no
I'm still
obvious,
walking.
no obvious injuries.
Okay. Jay.
Yeah. I mean, there's the jejunum, just part of your bowels.
Why is everything?
Everything's pretty much part
so
of
much of
bowels.
your body?
Just first thing that comes to mind, the jejunum. Now I'm just trying to think of any other J medical term. Is it a J tube? There's the JP drain, which is a drain for wounds. A lot of drains for wounds.
What are you draining?
Blood, fluid,
But
anything.
don't you want the blood to stay inside?
You want so actually fun fact. You want like in the body. So like imagine if we were to cut open a body, right? Yeah. You would imagine just blood everywhere, just bleh! But not if you do it right. If you miss most of the major blood vessels, the body is actually like not full of blood inside. It's not like a blood bag.
Well, I know that, but like,
But so like any fluid outside of the veins or arteries is not good. You don't want fluid anywhere except where it goes. So you have like your plumbing and like your piping, but if there's fluid anywhere else, it's like, oh no, that's bad. And like you can sort of understand what I'm talking about. Like, say you had a bad injury and it swells up, right? We want swelling to go down. All that swelling is actually just fluid.
oh, it's just fluid where it's not supposed to be.
Right.
So isn't a bruise when you're like bleeding underneath your skin? That's
Yep.
why it turns purple?
Yep.
Okay.
And then eventually that gets like eaten up by macrophages, unsung heroes of the immune system, and
Don't
like
worry,
your
we'll get
lymph-
to him in a second.
Oh right, and like your lymph system and all of that. But like, yeah, so fluid anywhere but where it's supposed to go is bad, so we drain it. But it's weird because yeah, like that was a moment of realization where I was like,
So now my mom is a notorious witch doctor.
Okay. I can't wait.
does she bleed you?
Continue. Continue.
Well, when she kind of moved past the leeches, I was like, okay, we should never train on the leeches. But what she always would say is like, listen, swelling is not a bad thing because it's blood rushing to the site, and the more blood there is there, the better. Right? So she'd also be like, fevers, great. Like, she's very much like...
Well, but, like, that is true to a point, right? Because it's the body fixing itself. Right. It's if it stays swollen for the next month.
She also has a little potion that only works when you put it under a full moon. No joke, man. That's actually...
Wait, really? No.
It's like...
Oh, man. I was about to totally defend your mom, but now I'm not even going to try.
It's a real thing.
I mean, yeah, like, swelling and fevers, yeah, they are, like, it's a natural response.
But it's not necessary.
But it's, like, once the blood gets there, you don't need it to stay there.
Okay.
Basically. And, like, once you get your fever, hopefully that higher temperature kills whatever's attacking you. And then, yeah, you want your fever to go away.
Yeah.
Instead of, you sweating out all of your fluids and dying.
Which doesn't sound
Or, like, cooking your brain.
Does that really happen
What?
high enough?
Not really, but, like, if your temperature gets high enough, like, really high, especially for, like, little children, it can damage, like, proteins in their body and, like, all kinds of random stuff.
So what's, like, a high normal temperature? Like 105? Yeah? Is that, like...
No, 105 would be, like, pushing it. That would be, like...
Okay, so, like, 103 is, like, a normal...
No, 103 would be pretty...
Like, I would say
We're
you have a
98.6?
Yeah, 98.6. So if you get up to 100, I'm already like, ooh, that's high. And here's the caveat. Different people run at different temperatures.
Okay.
So, like, I already run theoretically low, like at 98.0, right?
Crocodile.
Right. Actually, almost opposite, because, like, cold... Oh, well, I mean, yeah, cold-blooded. So, like, 98.0 is, like, normal for
guy.
me. Right. If I went up to 99, I would probably have a fever. Because a whole degree of temperature is a lot.
So we don't fluctuate that much.
Right, no,
So,
you're
like,
going to fluctuate, like,
so if you
half
go out
of a
on, like, a
degree.
hot day and you're sweating or you're working out or whatever, the sweating's counteracting your rise in temperature. But, like, if you took your temperature then...
You'd probably be up, like, maybe, like, 0.2 or 0.3, I think.
Oh, okay, I didn't...
Like,
okay.
if you go up a full degree of temperature, everybody's starting to be like, okay, like, we'll keep them, give them fluids and keep them, keep an eye on. Anything more than a degree, and you're like, oh, okay, we gotta get that down.
Because I had a 100.1 degree fever the other day during my tribulations, and Mom was like, oh, this is great.
Did you take Tylenol the way you
Okay. I know, she was like looking outside, just like, good.
She put the bone through her nose.
Yeah, exactly. I saw this huge torch fire out, and I was like, oh, God.
Oh, that's awful. Yeah, fun things.
Okay. Oh.
That's not...
How do you write that
That's
down?
not a
How do you
thing.
spell
K-F-F-F-F. I think that Kaposi sarcoma, I believe that's how you say it.
He's making up words again.
No, hear me out. So it's basically, it's a side effect from AIDS, I think, where basically your skin turns into wood.
What?
Yeah.
Lord.
So sarcoma...
The thing's about to fall behind, by the way.
So, like, sarcoma comes from sarcomeres, which are a part of your muscle. Not important. You don't really need to go into sarcomeres. And then I think Kaposi was just a dude who was like, aha, I've discovered a thing. And we were like, all right, we'll name it after Kaposi. We gotta give him the credit. I think that's a real thing. You can hear the confidence in my voice, though.
Yeah.
So you're just going to actually turn it into wood.
It becomes wood-like. It's really bad.
Because there's another one where, like, you become, like, stone, right?
Yeah.
You become an elephant.
Yeah, the elephant man thing, bobber. I don't know. That's the thing. I don't know about a lot of these things. It's kind of
I'm
like...
talking about grayscale.
Oh, that one.
Oh,
Oh, man.
Sorry.
I get into, like, one frame of mind, and then I'll just miss obvious
I can't
things.
even.
K+ is potassium. Very important.
Okay,
That's what you were losing
potassium.
a lot of.
That's true.
Your heart
Bananas.
stopped. Yes.
Apparently, bananas are potentially endangered right now. There's like
I've heard.
there's a bacteria that has the potential to wipe them out, but there's this one strain in Madagascar that's like immune to it, but there's only like 300 of those.
Oh, gosh.
So they're like, oh, we better make sure.
GMO the crap out
Well,
of
because apparently all bananas are clones.
I believe that. Like,
What?
oh yeah. Well, you look at those perfect looking bananas in the store, like where they're all one color and they're like super huge. Immediately in your brain you're like, that's not real.
Yeah.
That nothing looks like that.
Well, like, my dad used to eat too many bananas.
Too many? What does that mean?
Apparently, he was going to get, like, a potassium package.
If you get too much potassium, then your heart won't fire correctly.
Like, how the hell is that possible, that he eat too many bananas?
Okay, yeah, that's
I
the
really
real question to
love
be asked here.
bananas,
It's kind of like, oh, wait,
Just throwing back bananas and chocolate chips. I was like,
Steve, how many bananas are you eating?
To diet, yeah. It's got
Impressive.
something else is going on.
But yeah, I don't want bananas to go extinct. Those are
I don't
awesome.
want bananas to go extinct either. What does potassium do for you?
So potassium's an electrolyte that
Hey!
yes,
Then Gatorade.
and actually it's the electrolyte that it's probably the unsung electrolyte. So Gatorade and Powerade are replacing sodium a lot because when you sweat you lose sodium. Potassium though is essential for muscle contraction. When we say muscle contraction, what you should think of is the heart. Because the heart is the muscle that when it doesn't contract right.
Running.
Right, and that's the thing.
Pooping.
That's how that's sort of how you think until you start thinking of like, all right, how do people die?
Because it is a different type of muscle, right?
sort of. It's different in that it can fire on its own.
Okay.
But other than that, no, it's a lot like every other muscle. In that, like...
Dude, I'm so glad that the heart is one of those muscles that just, like, you can't... what is it called when it's part of the... what's this? The
autonomic nervous system. Perfect. Yes!
Yes, I'm recalling some of that biology
That's really
stuff.
strong.
But I'm so glad that we can't control... Like, apparently, like, you can actually sort of plug into it and be like, all right, I'm going to slow down my heartbeat and stuff. But
if you forget to think about your heart beating, you don't die.
Dude, I'm super chill. This is not... Oh my God!
You know when you're running. This is like the classic example. When you're running and you're breathing reflexively because you're thinking about something else. But your lung, like your diaphragm is autonomic and... What is even the... I can't remember what the opposite of autonomic is. So there's something parasympathetic. Voluntary. I can't remember the...
Voluntary and parasympathetic will sound familiar.
Yeah.
But you're the medical...
I can't remember what the opposite of autonomic is. But basically, you can control your breathing with your brain. Like, you can think about breathing and think about not breathing for a second or breathing. You can't then be like, I'm going to think about controlling my heart. I'm going to beat my heart like at 3 beats a minute. Like, you can't do that.
I mean, in some ways, it'd be nice if you could, like, just to get your heart rate going. That would be nice, but...
But you have some control. Like breathing patterns, I know, like, have a little bit of control of your heart rate. So if you're like... You know,
yeah.
I am on
well, and when you breathe fast, it'll bring your heart rate up,
yeah.
just kind of naturally.
But
if you're stressed and you concentrate on breathing slowly and like calming yourself down, that'll control your heart rate. Like you can tap into it a little bit,
yeah.
But like you couldn't tap into it enough to make yourself like die. Thankfully, that's good because people are dumb and we would do it. They'd be like, no, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go for it.
I'm going for it.
Like I'm just gonna stop my body.
You're at 30 beats per minute. I can go further.
Oh no! 30 beats.
Some people live at like normal heart rate
60, right?
60 to 100, right? 100's fast, 60's pretty slow. But there are people like super duper athletes who live at sub 60. I heard of a guy who like was a marathon runner, a super hardcore Navy SEAL who lived normally at like 45, I think, which is bonkers. Like that's just crazy.
What does that mean?
So
that means, I mean, I know what the number ratio means, but like, what does that mean physiologically?
So imagine like if you had like a bag and a set of tubing that was just a circle, right?
Uh-huh.
When you squeeze the bag, it shoots liquid around the tubing.
Okay.
So you're squeezing at a certain rate to keep the liquid moving.
Yeah.
This guy can squeeze so hard in a single beat that he squeezes half as many times as someone with a faster heart rate.
Okay.
So he has just a super strong heart. When it beats super fast or super hard.
Okay.
And his body doesn't have any resistance. Because actually, that's not a great analogy. His heart might not be that much stronger, but it's that his tubing is really good. Somebody with like artery disease, their tubing is full of blockages and slowdowns and kinks, so their heart has to beat harder and more often.
That's
so
rough.
Yeah.
We need too much potassium.
I think I have a low heart rate.
Probably so, because you're not overweight.
And I'm also not super
reasonably
active.
athletic. That we need to change. But also it's better for your heart. Like it'll
No, yeah, I do
more
too.
efficient.
I go for a walk every night
That's good.
to
That's
the door
important.
to lock it. When I come back,
Bill.
go to bed. L. Leg.
Yeah. No, you go.
Legs.
Legs. Strong.
I like it.
They're always
No,
supporting
what
you.
were you thinking of, Jack?
Ian, do you have any one?
They are always supporting love. that was pretty easy.
No, Ian, love has no place in medicine.
Love has no standing.
Love has no place here. All there are neurotransmitters. That's what you call love. It's just chemicals.
Lymph nodes.
Yes,
Hey,
that's
what were you
the
thinking?
lymphatic system.
Dude.
I was thinking of lymphocytes particularly.
Okay.
Lymphocytes and the lymphatic system is super
What does
interesting.
it do?
2 things. So, you remember how we talked about capillaries way at the start?
Oh no.
There's this tiny network of, like, it's where arteries and veins send oxygen in your body.
Mm-hmm.
But fluid is lost there. Like, as it's filtered, a little bit of fluid gets into the tissue. Okay. No big deal. Over time, though, you would lose all of your fluid. Like, your body would run out of gas. So you have the lymph system, which reabsorbs all that fluid. Right?
Okay.
That's the primary job. Secondary job, though, is actually also super important. It screens it. So this is like the customs gate where all your this is the airport where all your fluid is going your fluid is going through, and unless it can show a green card, it doesn't get through. So like this is where they screen for like cancer and bacteria and deadly things. That's why people get lymphomas often. Because cancer gets trapped in the lymph node. But since it's cancer, then it's like, aha, this is my plan.
Okay.
Right. So there's like it's almost like this it's like a series of checkpoints in the body.
So it's like the cardiovascular system in the sense that it's like everywhere?
It's almost exactly like the cardiovascular system.
Okay.
It follows it so it can reabsorb all the fluid from it.
What's the organ that's like, it's hooked? Is it hooked up to an organ?
The thymus and the spleen. are both important organs.
That's what the spleen does.
The spleen is actually super useful. Like, a lot of people can have their spleens removed and other organs will compensate, but the spleen is like the warehouse where a bunch of your blood goes and, like, bad blood gets sorted out and all these, like, super hardcore clone troopers get experience fighting, like, because the lymphocytes are just this. It's just terrifying what they can do. Their power.
They're scary.
Yeah, they're awesome. I love them. Yeah, that's bad. Anyways, lymph system. Guys, I'm sorry. This is gonna be like a 4-hour episode.
M. No, what did we say earlier? Metabolism. Oh, metabolism. There we go.
That's a great one.
Metabolism. I have a really low metabolism. I sometimes forget to eat. I didn't eat lunch today until 2.
Oh.
Brutal, dude.
Well, because I was sitting and I was drawing and I was coming along really good, and I was like, I gotta finish this before I move on. And then I stood up and was like, oh, I'm hungry.
That's awesome.
Your stomach kind of hurts.
Yeah.
And you got that little agony. You gotta eat.
Agony.
What?
It's from In the Woods. Okay.
I don't know the reference.
I thought he was gonna say incel, but you know.
No.
Applicable.
Yeah, I used to have an insane metabolism.
Like super fast?
Yeah, like, well, I would eat like a 6-egg omelet in the morning, and then, what?
Somebody, yeah.
That is a huge omelet. Like, I don't know if our listeners like eat eggs regularly. I do. I think I've eaten eggs every morning for like probably like 300 days out of the year for like 10 years.
Well, okay, so when I worked at Disney World, I did eat because I was out there all day sweating. Well, I'm gonna say it, sweating my every day and carrying these massive suits and crap. Like,
but that's just amazing. Like 3 eggs. I finished, but I have to think about it. 4 eggs is a lot.
Yeah.
6 eggs is ungodly. Like,
yeah,
That's a lot, dude.
how old are you? Were you in your teens? You were like 17.
No,
18?
this was like 2 years ago.
Dang it.
Goodness.
I thought you were just going through a growth spurt.
Yeah, well, because like for a week I would get 2 dozen eggs, and that would just last me a week.
That's amazing. Like, that's the thing. Like, breakfast, I'm
so
already
maybe
not very hungry.
okay, with that math, that doesn't check out. So that's probably more like 5 eggs a day. But still,
Still,
I mean,
5
4
eggs is a lot.
For a while, I was going to 4.
I was just trying to become Gaston, guys.
I'm telling you. I would love to be as big as Gaston. Like, it's just awesome.
You know what you can do? You can cook peppers into eggs.
Well, you can, but the thing is, like, you can make tricks to make eggs taste good. And I'm totally for it.
I never have just eggs. There's
Well,
always
just
like
eggs.
onions and
Right,
peppers.
of course.
yeah.
But guys, there's
Chicken,
a lot in an egg. Like, it's just got a lot of calories. Like, it's just a lot.
Yeah.
Eating 6 eggs is an accomplishment.
Not gonna lie, I'm gonna what's it called? Confide in you guys with this. I only recently found out that eggs aren't meat.
I mean,
That's pretty retarded.
here's what I'll say though. So here's the thing though.
It might have
So-
been the dumbest thing I believed as an adult. I was like, because I knew that they were like packed, that they were protein. So I was
They're
just like, in
very
my head, I'm like,
protein
okay, meat is protein. Eggs are protein. Eggs are meat.
Well,
That was the logical.
but here's what I'm gonna say though. What has the most protein and like no fat in it? What meat source?
Oh, meat source.
Yeah. Or what
said-
meat do you eat all the time?
Chicken.
And what are eggs?
Chicken. They're
No. They're chicken byproduct. Let's be clear. They're
An
not
egg is a chicken.
Well,
Like,
no.
legit
chicken before it's a
No,
chicken.
wait a second. No. There's a
Are you about
difference.
to tell me? Are you about to tell me that
God.
eggs are meat? Please.
All I'm saying is that
You're gonna be the first
it is
one
a
in my
strange
corner.
distinction to say that an egg is not meat when like a calf
See?
is meat.
But there's a
I can't
difference.
believe
a
it.
baby elephant.
I'm
if
so
you
excited.
cut
I
a
have somebody on my
steak off
team.
it, would be meat.
Ian, your opinion is
No,
invalid.
but here-
already.
I'm just saying that I am completely neutral on the meat debate. Like, I don't think it's meat,
You have to be an
but I
idiot.
also think that it is much more meat than like, you know.
Water. Like, sure, I'll take that.
It's as close to meat as you could get to be without being meat.
Yeah,
and you
it's
can make a
not meat.
good argument that it is.
No,
it's
no.
everything meat is, because it becomes meat. Like it has all the information to become
No,
meat.
but like it's like a dead. Those are the eggs we eat, right? They're just dead. They're done.
Yeah, typically our eggs are not fertilized.
They're not
Like,
fertilized.
we're not
Because
eating
if they're fertilized, then they're bloody.
That's like
Oh,
eating a
and they can go
placenta
bad
and being
really
like,
quick.
this baby.
I don't want to think about eating placentas.
I know. It's dark.
Do you know they
but I
do?
went there.
That's like a cultural practice.
do actually know
You know
this.
that like
Yeah.
we're supposed to save placentas after birth. Like
And
that's
you eat
part
them.
of training.
Yeah,
So mom can eat it. It's like, oh god, no.
Can you eat it?
Yeah, they give it to mom.
they don't always.
They don't always. Like it's
just
very, very small.
very
it's a cultural
unique
thing.
people that we appreciate as listeners, but
Well, I mean,
don't-
everybody's got weird cultural things.
Don't share your placenta
Jews.
with me.
No, I just said the word Jews. I didn't say they did it. I might actually
have to edit that one.
We're definitely gonna edit that one. But if you can, edit it such that they hear us talking about what you edited a second ago, because then they'll wonder.
As long as I sound
It was really
Moving
juicy.
on. The letter N. We gotta hustle through this last half of the alphabet. N. Nose. Your nose.
super important part of your immune system.
Yeah. You know what always annoyed me though is that it's called olfactory. Like, I don't know, because hearing has the word ear in it. That makes sense.
Oh yeah. And like
Eating has the word mouth in it, you know? It's another classic example.
Well, I don't know. Olfactory is just so different. Like,
it doesn't sound anything like
It sounds
I
like
mean,
a
smell.
It sounds like a
is what it is,
disconnected,
but-
or discontinued car brand.
the Olfactory.
Well, it's the Oldsmobile
Oh, you used to
factory.
ride in one of the Olfactory.
in the olfactory.
Oh. We're seriously
Olfactory, dude.
Olfactory.
Yeah, we totally have that.
It seems a bit cheap, but okay.
I'll take it.
P.
Hang on. Oh, I mean, we just talked about one. The placenta.
Dark.
The placenta is like, oh, boo. Bad answer.
Penis.
Yeah.
Yeah, the penis.
Go all out,
Penis.
dude. Penis is a
It's a medical term.
it's a medical term, dude. I hate that word though.
It does sound so
I will say though, like, once you take refuge in the clinical terms for everything, you can feel so safe talking about anything. Like,
Vaginas, penis.
yeah, dude. I've like,
I was about to ask, what are your balls actually called?
oh, the balls have the best name.
Testicles.
The testicles. Like, just say testicular with me.
I'm not gonna say it
Testicular.
with you.
Testicular.
No.
Like, that's a great word.
sounds
Like,
like,
I want
it
to have
sounds
like
like
the
testicles.
testicular division in my like futuristic war.
So if a quiz is quizzical, what are tests?
Testicular. Testicular. Testicle.
All right. Q.
Testicle.
Is there a Q? What's a Q?
I can think of one.
I kind of rely on you for this.
I'm trying to think if there's another one that's more interesting than the one I think of. There's the QRS complex of the heart. So when we were talking about potassium,
Brutal, dude.
basically, on a heart strip, you see like a wave called the P wave. That's your atria.
We already did P. You got to move on.
It's your atria firing. Basically, as it goes on and you've got your ventricles firing, your ventricles are what actually send the blood everywhere, you get 3 humps, and they call that the QRS complex.
Okay, so each hump is, one hump is the Q, one hump is the R, and one hump
Exactly.
is the S.
And they're all electrical waves, basically. So you can look at the heart electrically and see, oh, the ventricles are firing right here. And then, oh, right here is where the atria repolarized in the T wave.
You
But
just said so many words.
there's a lot.
lot, dude.
Basically, when muscles fire, it's an electrical impulse. Right?
Yeah.
When you get shocked, you know how you tense up? Mm-hmm. That's because
Yeah,
the
I
cells...
have a lot of experience getting shocked.
Yeah, electroshock therapy.
don't have any
I had to go through a lot of that.
Electroshock therapy works really well. Anyways, your cells depolarize when electricity hits them, and that makes your muscle contract. After that happens, though, what's really interesting is that your cells have to get the right charge again. That's where potassium comes into it.
Oh.
Without potassium, your cells can't get back to normal charge and can't fire again. Y'all are giving me that blank look, which tells me that it's one of those things that once you, like, get it, it's super awesome. You're like, thank God for this knowledge.
I'm sure it is.
It is.
I
I'm
think
sorry,
it's
guys.
crazy that
Jack, you're so cool. You're so cool.
I
All the
hate
stuff
being
that
this
you know.
nerdy with these things, though, and just looking at people and being like, I'm so sorry. Like, I don't even mean to, like...
No, it's great.
It's crazy that your body uses
like
electricity though.
So, but
Oh,
like in the hospital room where it's got that little
Yeah,
graph
the
with it, that's the QRS code.
Yeah,
The
you're
QRS
watching
what?
the heart rhythms.
QRS.
So that's called an EKG, electrocardiogram. The
Wait,
QRS,
cardio starts with a C.
it's German, cardio.
Oh,
it's also called
God.
an ECG sometimes, and I should call it ECG.
I've heard
but
EKG.
EKG is what we call it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's one of those funny paradoxes
That's
that
so
could drive
cool.
you insane at 2 a.m. studying for a test. Instead
Yeah.
of thinking about the test, you're thinking about why is it EKG? But anyway, so like that thing you see in the movies, that is looking at your heart's electrical waves.
Okay, but is that the QRS?
The QRS is the one that looks, it goes up, it goes down, comes up, and then flattens out again.
Okay. But it's the QRS what?
Complex.
Complex.
Yeah.
Sounds like a building.
Yeah.
The QRS complex. Terrible things are happening there. R.
That's not in medicine.
Well, not anymore, but you know, in the 1920s. That was
In the 1920s, oh,
lot of
dude,
weird
a lot of
ideas.
dark things. Many, many dark things.
20s were great
science reached
for jazz.
Basically for the 3 of us, and no one else.
Rash, dude.
Oh,
rashes.
rashes.
Oh,
rashes,
yeah,
are rough.
rashes.
Rashes are rough.
Dude, not a fan of rashes, dude.
You know scarlet fever? The rash is said to be sandpaper-like. So it actually is rough. Like, it feels like, 40 grain
Gosh,
sandpaper.
incredible. Could you like?
Could you sand wood on a scarlet fever patient's rash?
Could you make
Perhaps.
I'm not gonna lie, I always like that bit when like a cowboy would like light a match on their cheek. Or
Yes,
something. Now I'm just
that's
imagining
so
that they've
dope.
got scarlet fever, so it's just like
Oh, it was bleeding immediately.
Our superhero origin story, he was a prisoner and got scarlet fever and filed through his ankle bracelet with his hand.
so he's like he has it, but he's immune to it. So he's not dying, but he
Right.
suffers all of the side effects. I like
Yeah.
it. What's his name?
Scarlet Man.
Scarlett Johansson. No.
Scarlett O'Hara.
Scarlet Fever. Is
Should
a
we
good-
call him the Scarlet Letter? But it's not actually an A.
Oh my God.
Instead, it's just like a random. It's like Z
But did someone
because his name is Slavoj
was he
Žižek.
If he's called the Scarlet Letter, he has to be involved in some sex scandal.
It has to be a pure.
What if he's like the private eye that gets like, racy photos of politicians? So they threw him in prison.
I thought this was a period piece.
Oh, or is he like an 1800s?
Yeah, who has scarlet fever now?
I mean, it happens. I have to learn the symptoms of it. Clearly, it still happens, right?
But I think scarlet fever is a cool name.
Scarlet fever.
Honestly, yeah. Maybe
He
he's like,
just wears like all red clothes, and it's just.
or
Of course,
he's just,
not that many because he has to expose his.
Yeah.
skin.
Right.
Well, also that's just not practical. Like you're trying to run around the city in all red, just like we'll never find.
unless you run really
Not
fast
useful.
and your name is the Flash.
Or if you live in the Vatican.
The biggest
He's a bishop. He's a cardinal.
He's a cardinal.
He's a supervillain cardinal who has scarlet fever and sawed his way out of leg restraints. He impersonated a cardinal. There we go.
And he's already working for the Antichrist.
Oh.
Okay, sorry, you can edit that out.
I'm not editing that. You won't
No,
suffer
we
the
agree with
consequences.
this. Sorry, my Catholic friends.
Ugh. S.
Wait, you were talking about the Pope? S.
Does the Pope poop in the woods?
I mean, does the Antichrist poop in the That's too far.
No, that's a mixed metaphor between does the Pope ride the Pope mobile and does a bear poop in the woods?
There's so much going on. I've heard does a bear poop in the woods,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I've heard does the Pope poop in his hat, and I heard that on Breaking Bad. Okay, I heard it on Breaking Bad. Hank Schrader says it. It's a really weird thing, and they immediately call him out for it. They're like, "That's
like
not
that.
a real saying." And he's like, "Meh."
I like that version much better. S.
S.
Scarlet fever.
You do have scarlet fever. Yes.
What were you gonna say? Sinuses.
I wasn't gonna say that either. That's a good one.
Symptoms.
That's a good one.
Synovial fluid.
Oh, that's getting juicy.
I don't even know what that is. Isn't that what's in your kneecap?
Perfect.
Oh,
Yeah.
I do know what it is.
You got a little like capsule in your knee, and the synovial fluid just sits in there, lubricates everything.
Wow. Incredible.
Yeah, dang. Very good.
So nice, dude.
Synovial fluid.
Nasty.
T.
Testicles, dude.
Yeah. Testicular. I feel like they need no introduction nor explanation. But they can be twisted in testicular torsion.
Two
bad.
T's, dude.
Dude, that scene in Casino Royale
Oh!
where he's got the bad guy's got the rope. Dude, I'm giving in when he shows the rope. Like,
Yeah, so here's the thing.
Ugh.
I feel like seeing the rope and getting smacked the first 2 times was probably the worst it got. After that, it's like the Joker principle. Once you get hit in the head during the interrogation, you're kind of like, haha, but my body's numb.
yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't want it.
Still, though, not saying
Yeah.
that I would want to be.
I don't
blonde.
want to not have testicles.
They're pretty
Interesting.
tough, right?
The interesting thing is sometimes in castration they do like a neutering, like they would with an animal. Where they just take the testicles. Other times it's like
It's the whole package.
cut the whole thing off, which is way worse.
Well,
I
and
mean,
here's
they're
the thing.
both awful.
You just took the dude's ability to pee standing up away. That's messed up.
Well,
I mean,
yeah,
let's be real. That's the real crime.
Honestly, I don't want to know, but I have so many questions as to how stuff works after that. Like,
I don't know either, to be honest.
that sounds.
But I imagine it's a lot like, scattershot, like buckshot.
Oh dear,
Or like being a girl.
that's awful.
So worse.
Your uvula.
I was gonna say uterus.
Do you know where your uvula is? Oh yeah.
Right back in the throat, dude.
But can you grab your uvula? Try it.
Wait, can you?
No, I didn't. You'll throw up. Immediately, there's just sounds of gagging and throwing up.
I was like, isn't that what gives you your gag reflex? Let me check.
Yeah, I actually don't know if I think the uvula gives you your gag reflex. I don't know. I certainly know
It's
that
weird to think that it's just dangling back there. Like,
it's like another thing that just dangles around.
oh dear lord, your hair,
No. Not what I was thinking.
earlobes.
I was thinking the
hangnail,
testicles and the scrotum in general.
Scrotum.
Because they kind of look similar.
You're a dirty man.
Well,
V.
There's only one ventricle in the heart.
Safe. He went safe.
He took the coward's way out. And
vagina. Okay.
Anywhere else we would call him. Well, that'll be edited.
Oh, this is so much editing.
What about,
the
okay,
vagina.
so there's vagina, and then there's vulva.
Oh man, we're about to get all up in there.
I thought it was
Wait.
Oh yeah, it is the labia. Wait, what is
labia.
the vulva?
I don't know why this is the only thing.
I don't know where the
It's like
vulva is.
it's part of it. It's part of the vagina. I think it's like the So, unless I'm wrong. Oh man, and I would have to like describe one. Let me get out my drawing board.
It's just,
Basically,
here's my assessment. It's way too freaking complicated.
there's a lot going on. But yeah, it's sort of like it's like part of the labia, I think, is the vulva. It's like
We're not in C, bro.
no, I wasn't say. I was
Whoa,
saying.
Hey, medical terms though.
medical terms.
This is
Helpful
an educational podcast.
That's one word. I don't think there's slang for clitoris.
clit.
Yeah.
Well, okay, but like...
But that's an
It's like
abbreviation.
calling a vagina a vag.
Yeah.
That should not be done. But
Or
like,
calling a penis a peen.
A peen.
Which is, that's one.
Or, let's be real, the pee-pee, though, is the strongest of all the euphemisms.
It's true.
Like,
What that is pee-pee, man. It's not something you want to
like
whip out.
that is the greatest of all.
So, that was made for a young boy. It's like, that's your pee-pee. What's it do? It pee-pees.
So, like, here's a real question, though. So, you know how there's naked and naked?
Yes.
Have you ever heard of nakedity?
Okay.
Naked
Then it's only Felker slang.
Naked DD?
Nakedity was the younger version of naked.
You want to know what we were told was the name of our penis?
What is that?
Tallywhacker.
The tallywhacker. Oh my god. I'm assuming that your dad gave you this name, like this
initially
legend.
it's what we called the dogs.
Oh, it's what you called the dog's penis. I thought you just called your dogs the tallywhackers.
No.
And then it just kind of was like,
The dog's penis was referred to as Tallywhacker. And then we were like, oh, I've got one too.
I've got one too, so everyone's
So,
tallywhackers.
No.
That is the most ultimate euphemism. Man.
whipped out his tallywhacker.
I feel like that is like an established word.
It is. No, it totally is. But now I'm just thinking about all of the Baron tallywhackers out there. Every nobleman in the story is Baron tallywhacker.
Baron Tallywhacker. W. Water. Okay.
Water.
Water.
Totally.
I was gonna say wiener.
7. What?
Oh, what is this?
Tip of the elbow.
Right here, dude.
It's called your weenus?
It is the source of every, like, 11-year-old dude's jokes.
There would be
Ah,
people
your
who would call it-
weenus.
people would call it
Apparently,
to me at work.
apparently someone can lick your elbow and you won't notice. Because there's like,
I have wondered about that. I've
there's, like,
stealthy
no-
tried to lick multiple
I've totally
elbows,
done it.
and, like, I've been busted multiple times.
you're just...
Didn't go well.
There's one of two possibilities. Either you're no good at it, or you have a very, very...
Theoretical understanding of where the elbow is?
No.
No, not that idea.
No, I'm about to make a comment about your tongue.
Jabba
Is your
the
tongue
Hutt.
just spiked? Like,
I have scarlet fever on my tongue.
oh no, water. So, okay, so I've been told that you're 70% water.
Yes, maybe. I don't know. I can't remember what the percentage is. It's not 90. I know I heard 90 when I was growing up and said that, and then everyone laughed.
So there's always like this thing where like in a movie, the bad guy gets chucked into like a shredder, and all you see is this red spray of blood. Would that happen? Or would it just be this clear fountain of water that just...
No, it'd be red colored.
Oh. I want it to be a fountain.
Yeah, you know how, like, I'm trying to think.
You don't have like just straight water in your system, in you.
Sort of, you do. It's so, like, what your blood is it's it's water with some proteins in it, and then red blood cells in it. And the red blood cells make it red.
Where do you get the iron from? Red blood cells?
The ground.
Now you're getting into what I love. So hemoglobin is the protein in your red blood cell that carries oxygen. And hemoglobin requires iron. Because iron
So this
has
is
an affinity
actual
for
iron.
oxygen.
This isn't like...
This is Fe.
Dang.
Like legit iron.
That's so
You have
crazy.
like, I think it's a 2-penny nail in your body. If you could get all of the iron.
So the bit that Magneto does, where
Yeah,
he pulls
totally,
it out.
totally possible actually. Like that is
If
like
you were
one
magnetic-
of the dopest parts.
Not like,
No, no, no.
I'm just gonna stand in front of someone and be like,
There's only if
you
you
just hook someone up to a magnet. So like, what's the thing that scans you? MRI.
MRI,
That's
yeah.
a giant magnet, right? So
Yeah, it's a lot.
could that do damage to you? Like, I mean, if you actually had like a chunk of metal, like that's why they always ask you like you got
Yeah,
any implants
so
or not implants.
but yeah, like
Yeah.
actual
Pacemaker.
implant.
Yeah,
Yeah, like
yeah,
a pacemaker
like
type thing, or like I think you can have like pins and screws in your knees and stuff. Now I don't know. I know with most pacemakers, actually MRIs are safe now. Like they ask you still, but in general, you can still have an MRI. I don't know. Like if you had a pin in your knee, I don't know if it would actually like move it around. I don't know.
Because that'd be crazy if like you were just. I mean, I bet if you were underneath this powerful of a magnet, it would screw up other things in your body.
Right.
But like, if it could just suck all the iron
pull
out
all
of
the
you,
iron out?
like if your body would just shut down.
Oh yeah, it totally would.
Well, because you'd be riveted with these itty bitty molecular holes,
Right.
but then also you wouldn't have any iron in your system.
And so no oxygen.
Right. So like pretty quickly you would die just from
So you would
hypoxia.
suffocate.
But I wonder if
not
you'd be able to
sort of
see
like
it since
that,
it would be happening on a molecular level. Like
It would probably look kind of how it did in the movie, where like it's like a cloud of red comes out. I mean, I'm guessing that's probably what it would look like. It looked like it was pulling your blood out first, though, because it would probably be red.
That's gross.
Very, very gross, but also kind of awesome.
Pretty.
That part of that movie, I was just like, oh, that's the coolest. Like, yes, yes, Magneto.
X.
Good lord.
Usually this takes research, but this one's way too easy. X-ray.
Oh.
What did you say?
Xenu.
Xenu.
God of Scientology.
We'll do religion one day, and you can bring that back up.
false religion.
Dude, if
You
we
heard
do
me.
religion, I'm gonna study well in advance
yeah.
and like bring in all this weird stuff.
You guys are gonna be hearing like
Azazel,
Yeah.
the angel / demon brother of Raphael.
It's Azazel.
Azazel, okay.
oh, see, I'm gonna go deep. I'm gonna go like find like, a bunch of like native religions and stuff.
Ooh,
Oh,
Super deep.
super dark.
be good.
Super dark.
Okay, so X-rays.
Yeah.
Marie Curie.
So are you just nuking your
Mary
body?
Curie or Mercury?
No.
It-
Yeah, that's fair. No, Mary Carey. What?
Mary
Mariah
Curie?
Marie
Alleged-
Curie.
I thought it was Curie,
Marie-
but it might be
I'm
Carrie.
pretty sure
or-
it's Marie Curie.
Probably.
Marie Curie.
Honestly, I don't know. I've never said that name
I
out loud.
didn't. I
was
didn't
Polish,
realize how
right?
close it sounded to Mercury.
It sounds a lot like Mercury.
I think she was.
I thought always just assumed that it was Mariah Carey. That she's immortal and made up X-rays.
She mutated a great voice. From all the
how
leakage.
dumb is Jack? I don't
Well,
know.
I mean, yeah, it's the guy who's just been lecturing for like 2 hours. Like,
I'm
I'm
sorry. I
made up
hate
words.
that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Are you literally just nuking your body when you get an X-ray?
Yeah. That's
Because
why
they always like put the lead vest on you, and they're like, "All right, hold still." I'm like, I'm having to wear a lead vest right now. Like,
and it's not covering my head.
well, and they always like step out of the room, so you're like, well, they don't want to be in here. Do I want to be in here? I don't.
Run for cover.
Like, I would love to find out that like one of the, well, I wouldn't love to find out, but one of these days they'll just suddenly be like, oh yeah, you've had 10 X-rays. If you have one more, your head will explode.
I mean, yeah, sort of. I mean, like the thing with the X-ray is like, it can cause. So it could theoretically cause a cellular mutation and make cancer. Like that's sort of what's going on. Like it's radiation, sort of like UV radiation and sort of like gamma radiation. So you can become the Hulk. That was actually one of my favorite superheroes that I came up with all by myself. He'd had an X-ray right before a car accident, and so then he just gets superpowers. I think he can control metal, so it wasn't very original.
Now, is this one of those things where you actually thought of that before you knew about the Hulk?
No, I totally knew about the Hulk.
okay.
But I was just thinking, like, X-rays are totally underutilized.
I did that the other day. I thought of a superhero, and I was like, this is the coolest thing. I don't remember what it was now.
Boo.
But I thought of this hero. I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. And then, like, later, oh no.
Realized that it was the
I
Hulk.
realized that it's already been made. Like, the idea has already been done. And I was like, crap.
Vanity of vanities.
I mean, but how much does
nothing new under the
originality
sun.
really matter? At a certain point, you can just get postmodern and be like, you know what? This is a parody.
Well, or you just have to reference it. Like, you just have to say that the Hulk exists as a comic book character in this universe.
Right.
So they'd be like, I'm X-Ray Man. You're like, you mean like the Hulk? And you're like, well, yeah, but he's fictional.
Right, yeah, you just pay homage to it.
Yeah.
Self-awareness.
X-rays are good.
X-rays are good. Why? Why are X-rays good?
You know, why are they good?
The letter Y
That's...
for the listeners.
Years. Dude, that's that.
Yes.
Years?
That is
Yeah.
definitely...
So how many years have you been in school?
the college was 4 years, and then add on all of the years of homeschooling, which is hard because I've suppressed all the
So to
memories.
get wait. So to get your RN is just 4 years?
Yeah, so you can do
I mean,
it
not
in
just
a regular
4 years.
college
I'm not
degree.
trying to compare
No,
it,
no. Yeah, I was glad that it was that short. You have to pass the NCLEX, which is the
Yeah, that's the
licensing
one you just
exam.
did.
But I don't think you can practice without a college degree in nursing of some kind.
Okay.
So you can do a 2-year program. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. That's interesting.
Huh.
Yeah. So like there are Y chromosomes, but that's just such a cop out.
That's kind of cool.
it's not
Okay,
good.
so wait, what do you need? You need an X and a Y for a boy.
Yeah, to be human.
Wait, what?
Yeah, because women are something. They're subhumans.
They're just missing that extra little. No, but they're YY, right?
XX.
They're XX.
Actually, everyone starts XX.
What happens with YY? Can you make a YY? Does that exist?
There's such a thing as having an extra X, I believe. So you'd be like triple X, which would be awesome, but not actually. That actually like destroys you. And then I think there can be XXY. It's like it causes super bad growth defects.
Now, what?
YY, I imagine, is just an.
Okay,
He-Man.
because
It's the
which
Ubermensch.
one comes from which? Because the guy gives either an X or a Y, and the girl gives just X.
X's,
Just
yeah.
X's.
Yeah.
So you couldn't have a YY.
No.
Because there aren't any eggs with but there aren't any eggs with just Ys. What?
So this is a weird question. So I don't want to be offensive.
Speak up, boy.
But people with Down syndrome. What exactly is that? Because I know it's a chromosomal.
Let me see if I can remember.
What isn't it also usually later in the mother's life that the
So that's
the
that
possibility shoots
increases
up?
your risk factors. I'm trying to remember what causes Down syndrome.
Because if you're missing a chromosome or you have an extra chromosome. Isn't that it? It's an extra.
I honestly
That
don't
sounds familiar
remember.
to me, but I don't know either.
I don't remember. Down syndrome was a long time ago. That's the problem.
You had it?
No, but I studied
Seems pretty
So like
current.
everything I studied in my first year of nursing, I don't remember really. It's kind of like, well,
I'm not gonna edit you.
like it's like everything you learn 2 years ago is kind of like, well, theoretically, I.
Well, and also I imagine, like most knowledge, you use it or you lose it. Like if you're not focusing in that area,
right,
it's just gonna.
your rectus femoris just stops working.
What?
Oh, yeah.
If you don't use it.
Oh, so you say it differently from me.
Well, because you call it the rectus femoris, which is the name of it, and I call it the erectus femoris. So what was that? That was Y.
That was why we have one more letter. Z.
Well, I know some medications, but those are boring. Like that's not
Xanax.
that's actually an X.
What?
Fun story. Xanax is spelled Xanax.
That's dumb.
And if you try to pronounce that with like an X sound, you just sound stupid.
Xanax.
Xanax.
Z. Zebra.
I was gonna say.
I don't know.
Kind of related to medicine.
Yeah, if you crush up zebra hooves and that's what's in the potion, you have to drink.
Yeah, that's what
And
Mom's
zebra
gonna
blood
put
is an antidote to werewolf
Oh my
disease.
gosh. Unbelievable. I feel like Ziphenil.
What?
That sounds like a medicine.
like medicine.
I'm reaching here.
So you've got zidovudine, which is a medication. I don't actually know how it's pronounced. There are a lot of medications that I've read and never pronounced. That's a medication against AIDS, or against HIV, to be more precise. You've got Zantac and Zyrtec.
Zyrtec. Oh, that might have been what I was actually thinking of.
Yeah, Zyrtec is a good.
That's allergies, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to. Yeah. It's a antihistamine. But they're all boring. Medicate, like, if you're doing something about medicine and you resort to medications, you've got.
Well, we haven't done any medication the whole time.
Good
It's
point.
literally
And
our
if
first
you're going to
medication.
resort to medication, at
copped
some
out
point,
yet.
For a Z,
Z is
Q, X, and Z are always tough.
But we kind of.
Okay, zidovudine is pretty cool in that it's a RNA transcriptase. So, or it's actually like a reverse transcriptase. Basically, the way HIV attacks your body is also super interesting. You've got this little, like, super cool virus. So this virus swims around, it attacks your cell by injecting this deadly code into it. It sends in RNA. So you've got DNA, RNA. RNA goes over to your protein factory. So in your cells, you have this factory that
Mitochondrion.
Yes.
Yes! Wait, maybe not.
Yes, maybe. Oh no, now I'm just lost.
I feel
so lost.
I just wanted to derail you.
Basically, it hijacks the protein factory. You can take a medication that prevents the RNA from the HIV from being able to work. It just blocks the enzyme that allows that reaction. Super duper interesting, but
Government really outdid itself.
You gotta put a lid on Ian.
Oh,
Good Lord.
man.
How do you, what was
I
that?
I
What
just
was,
can't contribute anything.
zidovudine.
oh no, I'm not spelling that. Zido.
Just do like Z, the letter Z, D-O-O.
You know what? I'm not gonna spell check any of these. I'm just gonna put these straight into the show notes as is.
Good. Yeah, actually, I
You're
feel
like,
that's
what the heck
that's
is
a
that?
good move.
Solid
All right,
play.
well, now we know our medical ABCs.
I feel like as soon as this gets posted, somebody is literally just going to launch into a rage and a rant.
You didn't read the email.
That's
Oh,
okay.
what did
There's
I?
like a little.
What did I
You
do?
interrupted me.
Oh, I totally did.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
But I think that's
You get
what
to,
your
you
point
get to,
is.
you get to say it now.
We're just
You
gonna
get to say it now.
re-edit
That's medical.
Now we know our medical ABCs. Next time, won't you sing with me? And everybody who knows the actual knowledge that we used, please don't
be
hate on us.
merciful.
Write us hate letters at. So yeah, if you want to write us hate letters, you can email us at theabcpod@gmail.com.
Also, apologies to any.
I feel like an
I
apology at
offended.
this point is a mistake.
Listen.
All of it was meant in good fun.
I was
that count?
no. I'll say I was in a corner. I didn't know anything about this topic.
I feel like you're
felt
still
I had to
suffering from
lash out.
indigestion.
Yeah, dude. These
The Helicobacter pylori.
Oh yeah, they're just
ravaged
they
him.
went to my brain.
Heavens.
You know, they're really eating.
They
at my-
traveled up your pee-pee and just ravaged your gastric system.
and then
They don't do that, but
Oh, thank you.
some things do.
But your boggy what?
your boggy
boggy
fundus, your boggy fundi, wish that they had.
Gross.
Bilbo boggy fundus baggins.
Well, that was a terrifying, disgusting podcast. But
good
thanks for
lord.
joining us, guys.
Yeah,
Thanks,
sorry.
Jack, for filling in.
Oh, thanks guys. Thanks
Thanks,
for having
Ian, for being filthy.
me. Anderson, thank you.
All right,
for hosting
we'll
us.
see you next time.
Adios.
Boy. If you're interested in more episodes, show notes, and other oddities, visit our website, theabcpod.blogspot.com, and follow us on social media at theabcpod. Theme song by Mr. Putney and Seamus the Sheep. If you'd like to send us a complaint, topic idea, or just anything else, shoot us an email, theabcpod@gmail.com.